So every single day, hundreds of people create new agencies. And the same way, every single day, hundreds of people quit their agencies, okay? But a small percentage of people who don't quit and keep on going and keep on doing the right thing find success with their agency, okay? So with this video, I want to show you what I would do if I was one of those people who were just starting out in the agency space, okay? So I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 step process that I would do right now if I was starting off an agency to get my first client. Yeah? So if you don't know who I am, I'm Matt. I built an agency and now I'm building a coaching business, basically teaching people what I did with my agency, and I still do with the coaching business. And really all we do is we help early stage agency owners hit 10K a month or more. Yeah? So let's get into it. The first one, and I talk about this a lot, is the 24-hour setup. So in 24 hours, what you want to do is you want to basically handle all the bullshit, okay? And this should not take you any more than 24 hours, right? So your logo, your business name, your domain, your your website, your LLC, your ABN if you're in Australia like me, your ASIC, once again if you're in Australia like me, your ASIC, your Stripe account. These logistical things that don't actually matter and don't move the needle whatsoever, you need to get sorted as soon as possible, right? So if I were you, and this is what I would do, I would set a timer for 24 hours on my phone, and in those 24 hours is the only time I'm allowed to think about and actually do any actions that are creating logos. Like that should literally take you a minute, right? And creating business names, shit like that. It should not take you a long time. So that's the first thing I do. 24-hour setup. I would kind of write a list of all the logistical non-needle moving tasks that I needed to do, but they don't actually help, and I would do them all within the first 24 hours. Okay? Then the second thing, and one of the most important things, is clearly define your niche, right? So I'm not just saying, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go work with e-commerce and then just not go forward, right? I'm gonna very clearly define specifically who I want to help, right? And so the way that I would choose my niche and the way that you should choose your niche is by going and looking at all my past videos on niche selection and watching them and using the frameworks that I give you to select your niche, right? That's the second thing, pick your niche. I'm not gonna go into it. I've made countless videos on niches and I'll probably make countless more videos on niches. The second thing is pick the niche and clearly define it. Third thing is, now after I've picked the niche, that's the easy part. The next part is a deep dive into niche research, right? Because before you create an offer, before you create a service, you have to figure out the problem that's in the niche, right? You have to clearly define, first of all, clearly define the niche, and clearly define the problem that they need help with, that you can kind of provide as an agency, like the solution that you can provide as an agency to help people in your niche with that problem, right? So first of all, you need to define the problem and define the pain point, right? So maybe I'll do 30, 50, 100 calls to my niche and cold calls, but without pitching anything, we're just simply asking questions about the niche and further understanding the niche, right? And so from that kind of small amount of data and also the other research I do besides the calls, then after that, I'm gonna move into next step 4, which is what I'm gonna make an amazing offer. But here's the thing, I'm gonna make it as amazing as I can right now. It's not gonna be perfect, it's gonna be as good as I can make it right now. And so as a part of that kind of offer creation process, what you're also gonna be needing to do is clearly define the service, right? So now you kind of uncovered the pain point and the problem that your niche is facing. Only after you've done that, you want to make a service that kind of alleviates the pain, right? Quote from Charlie Morgan, value is created when pain is alleviated when problems are solved, and when value is created, money is exchanged, right? So what you want to do is create value, and create value by alleviating pain, right? So once you kind of clearly define where that pain is, where the problem is, you want to create an offer around it, right? So you want to make it amazing, the best risk reversal, the best time frame, outcome, all that shit that you can right now, right? Because right now you don't have any. If I was making my agency, I wouldn't have any case studies or anything like that, and I wouldn't have any proof of doing the service in the past. So I wouldn't be 100% confident in my service. I can only be 100% confident in myself, right? So I would make it as good as I can. I couldn't say that, if I don't get you 1 trillion leads tomorrow, I'm gonna give you $1 trillion. You can't make an insane offer like that when you're just starting out, but you can make it as good as you can, right? So I'd make the offer and I'll kind of clearly define the service that I want to be doing, right? And once again, we'll get to this in a second, I'm not learning about it right now. I'm clearly defining what I'm gonna do and I'm gonna make sure that it works, right? So I wanna make sure that's proven and it actually works, okay? That's all I'm doing right now, is that. And then the next thing is build client acquisition systems. So what I'm looking for is 4 things. Outbound system, to go from people who are strangers to appointments, right? And through outbound, so maybe it's gonna be through cold calling. If you can cold call your niche, you should cold call them. And if not, you can do a different method, DMs, emails, SMS, whatever. But as a general rule, if your niche is cold callable, cold call them, right? So an outbound method, which is probably gonna be cold calling, inbound. So just posting content. I'll probably just start posting YouTube videos, one YouTube video long form like this one per week to help. And the whole goal, like the way that you should be thinking about the YouTube videos is all you're doing is you're providing value to the niche, right? Like maybe you're like, you're talking about if you're, let's say for me, in the marketing agency, like the early stage marketing agency in this niche, all I'm trying to do with every single video I make is give you value. And so by doing that, I'm gonna kind of try and make myself look better, and like, I'm breaking the fourth wall there, but my goal with the channel is to become almost like an authority in the space, and also of course book meetings, right? But I'll be starting to create an inbound system to where I post one video per week on YouTube, right? Alongside the outbound system. Then I'll make a shop system to turn the appointments into shops. Then I'll make a sales system to turn the shops into new clients, right? There's like the kind of key 4 systems that you need for client acquisition, right? So I'll build out these systems, right? And so the next 2 is basically how I would structure my day from there on. So once I've clearly defined my service, my niche, my offer, and I've built out my client acquisition systems, I'm gonna split my day into 2 halves. I'm gonna have the first half, which is eat the frog and daily work. And so eat the frog is kind of like the first task that you do in the morning, the hardest. And what I'm doing in like my work day is purely client acquisition efforts, right? So the eat the frog task is going to be the hardest thing to do, which is probably going to be recording cold calls, and throughout the entire day until like 4 or 5 p.m. So let's say I'm cold calling, let's say I have to start calling at like 4 p.m, right? I would record in the morning and literally cold call all day until 4 p.m. So do as many as I can, 200, 300, 400 per day, as many as you can, right? So then after that, let's say after like 4 p.m. onwards, that's the time where I'll be going into service delivery learning and gaining expertise in my service delivery, right? Obviously, you're not gonna have 10,000 hours and $10 billion in ad spend spent if you have no clients. You won't be like a god at service delivery straight away, 100%, right? But you wanna become as good as possible, and so that you can have some level of confidence in your service delivery, right? So in the morning, I'm recording for the YouTube, and then throughout the entire day, I'm doing outbound, and it's probably going to be cold calls. And then in the evening and the night, I'm doing service delivery learning. Yeah? And maybe I'm also scraping leads so that tomorrow, in the hours where I can cold call, I can just solely focus on cold call. The next step and the next kind of thing that I would use is a combination of scientific method and rational decision making. And so that kind of sounds a bit like wishy-washy. What do I mean? Well, the first cold call script that I make isn't going to be perfect. The first sales call script that I make isn't going to be perfect. The first email system, like, I don't know, video creation process I make isn't going to be perfect. The first shop system I make is not going to be perfect, right? So what I'm going to be doing is testing all of these using the scientific method, where you change one variable, you test, you kind of gather results, and then from that, you can change one variable again whilst keeping everything else the same, ceteris paribus in economics. Change one thing, test it, see the results, change one thing, test it, right? I'm gonna keep on changing and keep on specifically using the scientific method for my cold calling, for my sales calls, and a very important thing here is that you understand regression to the mean, right? So this is where rationality comes into play. So let's take the example of cold calls. Let's say that your first test, you're gonna do 300 cold calls using this one script, right? You might be 50 calls in, and of the 33 pickups that you got, 18 of them have told you to fuck off. And that's kind of hurt your emotions, it's made you feel bad about yourself. So if you were irrational in that moment, it would cause you to switch up after only doing 50 instead of however many you wanted to do. Let's say 250, 300. Let's say you wanted to do 300, and after 50, 80 people told you to fuck off. So it makes you sad, makes you irrational, makes you emotional. So you change the script without doing the whole script, right? Whereas if you were rational and you realized, okay, well, that was only 50 people. That's not a big enough testing pool. So all I need to do is just do like the next 250 and not change anything, and then I can actually clearly define if this script works or if this script is very good at making people say fuck off, right? And maybe after the 250, I realized, wow, those 18, I only got 5 more people after those 18 telling me to fuck off. So it was just like a kind of a random chance that there was a lot of them in the first 50, right? But whereas I did the next 250, I only got told to fuck off like 5 more times, but I booked 7 appointments from my 300 cold calls. So that's like a 2.33%, something like that, percent ABR, which is a great thing to have if you're just starting out. Because that means if I can just turn off my brain and do 200 cold calls a day, I'm gonna book a minimum 4 appointments per day, right? So make sure that you're kind of being rational when you're testing, right? So that's that thing, is scientific testing plus being rational and like actually letting the test play out and not like making decisions in the middle of the test. Then the second last thing is literally just latency, right? And so what that means is letting time pass. So it sounds stupid, but you're not gonna get a client. So let's say you're doing 200 cold calls a day and you're posting 1 video a week, and you have the shop system ready, sales call system ready, and just by starting, you're not gonna get the client, right? You need to keep on doing it, and 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 iterating and changing things and getting better and better and better, and keep on doing that, and then you're gonna start booking meetings, and then from there, keep iterating your shop process. Maybe like, if you've never done a sales call in your life, it might take you 20, 30, 40 sales calls before you land your first client, right? And that's completely fine, especially if you suck, right? But for some other people, it might take 2 sales calls, 1 sales call, right? It really just depends, right? So you need to allow for latency, which is for time to elapse, right? So I would just kind of think, okay, well, what I'm doing right now, these inputs, day in, day out, they're getting me closer towards my goal. So the biggest mistake I can make when I'm in the stage where I'm actually doing the right thing, I'm actually booking appointments, I'm actually taking sales calls, and I'm close to landing that first client, the biggest mistake I can make is to change everything and just be like, okay, well, this isn't working. Even though I've only been doing this for 2 weeks, it's not working. So I'm just gonna change everything. That's the worst thing you can do, right? So you need to create systems that are working, and then just let the system run. And the output of that system will be a client. You just need to wait for latency to occur, right? But with that said, if you do 500 cold calls and you book no meetings, I'm not telling you to let latency occur in that situation. You have to actually define a good system before, and then once you've defined a good system, you can then let latency occur with that system. Okay? And so the final step, if you have a good client acquisition system, you're doing the inputs every single day, you're learning your service delivery every single night, and the client acquisition system is working, you're booking meetings, you're taking sales calls, all you have to do is let latency occur, and then you're going to get to the last step, which is actually signing the first client, right? So that's kind of the process that I would use, go from just starting to getting my first client. So if you have enjoyed this, please obviously do the usual shit, like, comment, subscribe. And if you are an early stage marketing agency owner, the first thing in the description is for you. And one last thing, this video is maybe 10, 11, 12, 13 minutes long. You've had the attention span to sit here and watch an educational video for that long. Whereas the majority of your competitors, they're probably scrolling on Instagram Reels on TikTok right now, right? So props to you, you're already doing the right thing. You're watching long form content, and it's not ultra hyper like Mr. Beast edited, and you're able to sit through it. So you're already doing the right thing, and I'll see you in the next one, yeah? Bye-bye.